The movie introduces Dioki in a ticket booth before switching gears to Hak-Kyu's introspective thoughts. He left home after a misunderstanding at the school he worked for. Now, he's in a different place, hoping he can find his footing and write a novel, a story that needs to be told. However, something is discouraging about the town the moment he arrives. He's idly standing around with a drink and cigarette when he meets her. They don't say a word to each other, but she keeps staring at him before she eventually walks away. Hak-Kyu arrives at his new workplace, where he teaches the elderly how to write a novel. They tease him for being young, and he scolds them for being old, yet still wanting to write. To achieve their goal, they'll need to be young at heart. They might be old, but they are bubbly and eager to learn. Dioki stops at a store to get some things before heading home. Her impaired mother shows up, and they communicate effectively through sign language. Dioki is a thoughtful child and has already gotten what the mom needed. This makes the storekeeper remark that Dioki's mom has raised a fine child. At home, Dioki tells her mom what the storekeeper told her. The town will be redeveloped, and residents like them will get compensation. This means they could possibly relocate to Seoul. But Dioki's mom prioritizes Dioki's love life instead. She feels it's time for Dioki to settle down with a nice guy. Dioki knows her mom is worried about her, but she promises that things will get better. Dioki and Hak-Kyu meet again at the town's small amusement park. She works at the ticket office and points out that he's too serious looking to be having fun at the park. He clarifies that he's not there for fun, but for work. He's a literacy writing class professor, a course that intrigues Dioki. On closer look, she remembers him now from the day they stood side by side, without a word between them. Dioki enrolls in his class, and after the lecture, students and the professor gather around for a drink. In this small town, news spreads fast. The oldies are aware that Dioki went on a blind date, and they start asking intrusive questions, not even bothering to apologize when she becomes visibly uncomfortable and takes her leave. Dioki and Hak-Kyu walk home together. His apartment is closer, so they bid each other goodnight. Dioki should be on her way, but she decides to spy on the professor for as long as she can without getting caught. While Hak-Kyu is restless about a messy and unresolved situation back at home, Dioki has a dream where she and Hak-Kyu are lovers. They talk the next day as Dioki is closing up the ticket booth. The amusement park will be demolished soon as part of the town's renovation, and Hak-Kyu casually asks what's next in line for Dioki after it's gone. He also pitches that she should do something adventurous in the time it takes her to figure out her next move. It leads to her assessing his sort of personality. Hak-Kyu invites Dioki to his place, where he gives her a glimpse of the scandal back home. He appreciates that she doesn't judge him. Little does he know that she's too infatuated to find any fault in him. A call reveals that Hak-Kyu is a family man. He has a daughter who misses him, and a seemingly estranged wife. Dioki is there to witness the call. He gets on a bus to return to his life in Seoul, but decides at the last minute to stay back. He and Dioki then walk in silence back to his apartment, where she claims she's hot. Yeah, hot with desire. Hak-Kyu's wife tells their daughter she should forget about her dad coming home, because he must be somewhere cheating. The little girl wants to see the best in her dad, much to her mother's annoyance. Hak-Kyu and Dioki sneak into the amusement park late at night. Then, they turn on the switch for one of the carriage rides and get in. The small space offers enough privacy as they float through the air. Dioki confesses that she's fallen in love, and with that she melts into his hungry arms. They're so lost in their world that they forget the guard is on patrol and can see them. Sometime later, some elderly people are discussing what the guard had witnessed. Dioki's mom walks in on the conversation and struts off stunned. The gossips aren't sure if she heard because they can't tell if she's deaf or mute. Not long after, Dioki and Hak-Kyu stroll through town like a new couple in love, openly showing affection. Hak-Kyu even pays for a sketch of Dioki, watching her eyes light up with a sense of pride and adoration. Now, that bleary town with its flower-laden trees feels a little less dull, with Dioki by Hak-Kyu's side. He'd seen her eyeing a pair of heels the other day and got them for her, slipping them on her feet and drinking her in while she walks in them. When he's had enough of the show, he approaches her, peeling off her clothes as she does the same. As their rhythm quickens, she makes a mental effort to keep the heels from slipping, as if she knows he'd want them to stay on. Their bodies grow slick with sweat, their breaths hitching, but Dioki still finds the voice to swear that Hak-Kyu is hers forever. Morning comes, and they enjoy cups of coffee. Hak-Kyu takes several sips before wanting his tongue to wander across Dioki's skin. A call interrupts. It's his friend and colleague, calling with good news. Dioki is hoping the friend can come over so she can play host, but Hak-Kyu makes up an excuse and is on his way. The good news is that his name is cleared, as there's evidence to support his innocence. His job has been restored, and he can resume the coming semester. His friend wants to see his place, but Hak-kyu opts to take him drinking instead, to celebrate. That same night, Dioki gets a call from Hak-kyu asking her to go home. She covers up dinner and leaves. There's an unreadable expression on her face the next morning when she comes and finds last night's dinner tossed out untouched. Hak-kyu packs for Seoul, ready to return to his life, probably thinking he's leaving this town with no strings attached, until Dioki tells him she's expecting. Hak-kyu takes Dioki to the obstetric clinic and apologizes for putting her in such a mess. He promises to keep in touch, but the only missed calls Dioki receives are from her worried mother. Hak-kyu returns to his sick wife, and she admits that she's been tough on a kind man, but she'll do better now that he's back. Dioki isn't welcomed at her mother's, so she goes looking for the only other person who should love her. She finds him in the school he teaches, and he takes her aside to make more empty promises that she's getting weary of. His colleague sees his encounter with Dioki and tries to warn Hak-kyu not to be so dumb. He's only just gotten back in the good graces of the school board. Hak-kyu basically tells him to mind his business. Dioki rushes into Hak-kyu's arms after spotting him from the window. She's so excited to see him that she forgets the stir-fry on the still-burning cooker. Hak-kyu wants to end things, offering her money to silence her. This makes Dioki upset because it was more than just a fling. She's in love. It's already too late when Dioki sees the engulfing flames. She runs back into her house, trying to save her ill mother. Hak-kyu calls the firefighters, but it's of no use. When Hak-kyu gets home, he faces a different kind of chaos. His wife has taken, leaving their young daughter in his hands. 8 years later, Hak-kyu is a best-selling author living a fast life. When he's not gambling away his royalties, he's in the bedroom having a fun time. Time might have passed, but he still has a type: college girls. History repeats itself too. His newest interest has grown feelings for him, but Hak-kyu bashes them. He has a reputation to uphold, and he expects her to understand. The only young woman he seems capable of respecting is his not-so-little girl, Chungi. One day, Hak-kyu is diagnosed with retinal macular degeneration. The doctor makes him understand that he's brought the complication on himself, and there's currently no cure for it. He could completely lose his eyesight, and the doctor advises him to drop certain habits moving forward. Hak-kyu, however, seems unbothered by his predicament. Things continue to spiral. He goes into debt after a bad investment and starts to lose his vision. There's also a distance between him and his daughter. He's like a brick wall she can't crack open. With his vision gone, Hak-kyu can't tell that it's Dioki at his door. She introduces herself as a neighbor and a friend of Chungi, feigning concern for his well-being. She now goes by Sejong, and she gets acquainted with him. Chungi might dislike her father, but she's warm towards Sejong. With the daughter's permission, Sejong continues typing Hak-kyu's novel. One day, Sejong mentions she knows a doctor who could help Hak-kyu's condition. She takes him to the hospital, and the doctor gives Hak-kyu hope that his vision could be restored. Sejong starts to weave her way into the professor's life, making herself active and comfortable in his home. She takes him to the doctor for a routine checkup, and the doctor affirms he's ready for an operation that will cure him. When Hak-kyu asks for the cost, the doctor throws a knowing look at Sejong, telling him not to worry. Sejong takes Hak-kyu to the casino at his request. With a looming surgery and a bill she won't disclose, he's tense and needs to relieve himself with what little money he has left. He's got luck on his side until he doesn't. The plan was to make the money he needs for the surgery from gambling. Desperate to see her again, Hak-kyu takes a drastic step and borrows money to put on the table. Sejong stays by his side with no thoughts of dissuading him. Chungi finds a sketch of Sejong, and she makes it clear to the older woman that she isn't looking for a second mom. Sejong implies she has far different intentions. Sejong continues to take care of Hak-kyu. He might be blind, but he's still ambitious and active, reacting to Sejong's hungry and seductive hands. While they're having sex, his mind dials back to Dioki. Chungi spies on them while they're in the act, and runs back to her room when she's seen enough. Sejong and Hak-kyu hear her, and Hak-kyu decides he'll tell his daughter he's marrying the nice lady. Hak-kyu's creditor becomes his worst nightmare. Since Hak-kyu can't pay his debts, he takes Chungi hostage, planning to sell her as a sex worker. Sejong had promised she would protect her. The right words to put the girl at ease, even though she knew everything related to Hak-kyu would crash and burn. 6 months later, Sejong is still Hak-kyu's caretaker, and Chungi is still missing. Sejong is helping Hak-kyu wash himself when she comes clean about who she is. The two have a scuffle, but Hak-kyu loses all his strength the moment he learns that Chungi is 6 feet under. Hak-kyu goes on to write his best book, yet even though he's blind, Sejong still lives with him, and they coexist somehow even with the animosity. Out of the blue, Chungi comes back home. She survived through wits and perseverance, and she assures Sejong that it's her turn for revenge. Sejong has created a monster, as Chungi now has the bad guys running her errands. Sejong has lost her support and is pushed to a corner because Chungi decides Sejong will end things with her dad and then donate her eyes. Hak-kyu is left in the dark about what's happening, but he is sorry for hurting Sejong and wishes they could start again. Both parties are abruptly knocked unconscious so the surgery can commence. In her quest for revenge, she loses everything, including her sight, everything except the one person that started it all.